Hey everybody, this is Doc T. It's Saturday, so it's a work day for me here at the hotel. Let's go Chargers. Got the Jaguars tomorrow. Real quick, this is going to be a little bit longer. Don't click off. Just bear with me. We're talking hip flexors. So a lot of you out there, at least from what I'm seeing online, social media outlets and so forth, hip flexors are huge. A lot of people are into them. What's going on? This is just my laptop with a picture we'll get to in a second. So first, actually, let's just do that real quick. Real quick, hip flexor. We have two. There's actually more muscles that flex the hip than just those two, but those are the two we're usually talking about. So we're talking here, we got your spine, you got the psoas right here on the side, kind of goes from the spine down to your thigh, then you got the iliacus right here on the side that goes the same way. If you notice, they pull in different directions. So the psoas starts up here in the spine, actually goes this way, so it's going outward a little bit towards the leg. The iliacus starts outward and comes inward toward the leg. That means these two muscles actually oppose each other. They go in two different directions. Now, why they perform similar actions, they're opposing muscle groups in a sense of this. Your bicep. The biceps is actually a supinator, so it turns your palm upside down like this, and then it flexes the elbow. The brachialis, which is underneath that muscle, flexes the elbow. Don't turn off yet, I know, it's a little boring, just proving a point. Two muscles, same location, have similar jobs, but don't do the same thing. Make sense? Okay, so you got the hip flexors. Similar jobs. As I hit this touchscreen again, I love touchscreens, but don't have it. They're tough to do. Anyway, so when it comes to hip flexor, oftentimes you'll find that people will say mine is tight. I sit all day at work, I'm sitting, I'm banging away at the keyboard, and I have a tight hip flexor. That would be true if when you sat, you arched your back really far and you sat really close to your thighs. That shortens the hip flexor, both of them. So as more predominantly. But most of us, at the end of the day, are actually going from here to here. And this slouching mechanism where our pelvis actually rolls backwards is what creates a lengthening of that hip flexor. So from what I found, and this is in clinic, this is dealing with professional team, whatever, what I found is that muscle tends to be weak versus tight. And I know, again, don't turn it off, stay with me. If you have a muscle that is trying to contract all day, and if that's not the only muscle that's trying to correct posture, but let's just say that's the one we're trying to use for whatever reason, that muscle is going to get tight or fatigued. In other words, flex your bicep. Now hold that for 6 or 7 hours. Is that going to get really tight on you, or is it going to get really tired on you? It's going to tire out first. So before you hold it there and then it shortens and now your arm just hangs here, it's actually going to weaken to the point where it just flops. It can no longer do its job. Which means what happens to you here is it's here, it's active, and then as you slouch, it gets weak. So now the muscle's weak and fatigued, and then what happens, unfortunately, some of us go out and we start mobilizing the heck out of it. So now we have a longer, weaker muscle, which means we've lost the stability of what it does. So again, this is just a little rant of mine, but it's something I'm coming across. I hope all of you stuck it out. It was a whole 3 minutes-ish, but I hope it covered it for you. And what that answer to that question is if you're sitting like that, your posture is addressed in your core, your glutes, and your hip flexors, and your rectus abdominis, and your posture muscles in your shoulders. All of those play a role in that sitting. And just a side note, for all of you that are trying to transition to a stand-up desk, these same things can become an issue as well. So keep this stuff in mind, but try not to just go after one muscle or one muscle group in hopes that that's going to do the trick for you and kind of fix whatever you conceive to be your problem. Try not to listen to all the outside noise about it's this, it's this, it's this. It's kind of, it gets to be too much. All right, this is Doc T. Hope this helps again. Go Chargers. See you guys next time.